Isaiah Thomas has had one of the most unique careers in NBA history. From being a 5'9" draft prospect and being selected in the final pick of the 2011 draft, to nearly winning an MVP award with the Boston Celtics, and then finally having a steep plummet because of injury, Isaiah Thomas has many highs and lows in his career. So how does someone with such an unlikely and remarkable run with a team turn into someone who has trouble even signing with one? This is the rise and fall of Isaiah Thomas. Isaiah Thomas was born on February 7, 1989, and was named after Pistons Hall of Fame guard Isaiah Thomas. James Thomas, Isaiah Thomas's father, was a lifelong Lakers fan, and he made a bet with a friend that the Lakers would beat the Pistons in the 1989 finals, or he would name his son after Lakers nemesis Isaiah Thomas. The Pistons won the finals in a sweep, so James named his son Isaiah. Isaiah Thomas attended the Curtis Senior High School in Washington through 11th grade. However, his grades had to improve to earn a scholarship, so he repeated his senior year across the country at the South Kent School in Connecticut. While he was at Curtis High, Isaiah Thomas played for the varsity team, and he averaged 31 points per game as a junior. On April 20th, 2006, Isaiah Thomas, who was ranked as a 4-star recruit at the time, announced his intention to sign with the University of Washington for his college career. At Washington, Isaiah Thomas received the blessing of Nate Robinson, who was a former Washington Husky star, to wear his number 2 jersey. And Isaiah Thomas would make the best use of that number 2. In his freshman year, Thomas averaged 15.5 points, 2.6 assists, and 3 rebounds per game. He was also named Pac-10 Freshman of the Year. As a sophomore, his averages increased to 16.9 points per game, 3.2 assists per game, and 3.9 rebounds per game, and was selected first team All-Pac-10. Isaiah Thomas put up very similar numbers in his junior year, except the fact that he doubled his assist average to 6 assists per game. He once again was named first team All-Pac-10, and in that year, Isaiah Thomas had his best college moment, where on March 12, 2011, he put up 28 points and a game-winning buzzer beater in overtime to take down Arizona and lead the Huskies to victory in the championship game of the Pac-10 tournament.
Thomas, shake, crossover, step back, at the buzzer, cold-blooded.
It was after this season that Thomas declared for the NBA draft, skipping his final year of college eligibility. In the 2011 NBA draft, Isaiah Thomas was selected with the final pick number 60, to the Sacramento Kings. This is where his NBA career would begin. Despite being doubted because of his very small height of 5'9", Isaiah Thomas still put up a very good rookie year, averaging 11.5 points, 4.1 assists, and 1.8 rebounds per game with the Kings in his first season, being selected to the 2011-12 All-Rookie team. Isaiah Thomas was also named Rookie of the Month 2 times in that season, in February and in March. Next year, in the 2012-13 season, Isaiah Thomas began to see more of the starting position, starting 62 games out of the 79 that he played in, averaging about 14 points per game, 4 assists per game, and 2 rebounds per game. In the 2013-14 season, Isaiah Thomas showed a preview of what would happen down the line in his NBA career. It was his final year with the Kings, but his best year, showing off his talent, averaging 20 points per game, 6 assists per game, and 3 rebounds per game. He scored 38 points twice, and also tallied a triple-double on March 18, 2014 against the Wizards, which made him the shortest player to ever record a triple-double in the NBA. After this season, Isaiah Thomas caught the eye of many other NBA teams. On July 12, 2014, Thomas was traded to the Phoenix Suns. There, in a short stint on the Suns, he would average 15 points per game, 4 assists per game, and 2.4 rebounds per game. He also became the 4th Sun to score at least 23 points in their first 2 games on Phoenix. On February 5th that year, Thomas was announced as a contestant for the NBA Skills Challenge, which once again made him the shortest to ever accomplish that feat. Just 2 weeks after the All-Star break, Isaiah Thomas was traded to the Boston Celtics in exchange for Marcus Thornton and a 2016 first-round pick. Little did he know, he would play at an MVP level with this team. In the remaining 21 games of the season, Isaiah Thomas would average 19 points per game, 5.4 assists per game, and 2 rebounds per game, earning him multiple Eastern Conference Player of the Week awards. On April 19th, Isaiah Thomas played his first career playoff game against the Cleveland Cavaliers and recorded a double-double in his first game, tallying 22 points and 10 assists. The Celtics would lose that series to the Cavaliers in a 4-game sweep, but Isaiah Thomas averaged 17 points and 7 assists over that series. He also finished second in NBA Sixth Man of the Year award voting that year. The future for Isaiah was bright. The 2015-16 NBA season was another huge leap for Isaiah Thomas. He played in all 82 games in the season, starting 79 of them, averaging 22 points per game, 3 rebounds per game, and 6 assists per game. This also led to his first All-Star selection, and he became the lowest draft pick to be named to an All-Star since the NBA draft was reduced to 2 rounds in 1989. He also tied Calvin Murphy as the shortest player to ever be selected for an All-Star game. The Celtics once again made the playoffs, going up against the Atlanta Hawks in the first round of the 2016 playoffs. The Celtics were down 2-0 in the series, but then Thomas scored a then career-high 42 points in Game 3 to lift Boston to a win, becoming only the 9th Celtic to score 40 in a playoff game. And then in the following game, he dropped 28, which helped the Celtics even the series at 2-2. However, the Celtics did go on to lose that series 4-2, ending their season. But it was after this season that Isaiah Thomas entered his prime. In the first 21 games of the 2016-17 season, Thomas scored 20-plus points in all except one. He also put up big numbers, such as a 44-point night against the Memphis Grizzlies and a career-high 52 points against the Miami Heat. He then had another 41-point effort against the Portland Trail Blazers, and Isaiah Thomas was also breaking Celtics records left and right. He broke John Havlicek's record by having 43 straight games scoring 20 or more points. He also reached 200 three-pointers in that season, only becoming the 3rd Celtic of all time to reach that mark. He also only became the 6th Celtic to score 2,000 points in a single season. And he also broke the Celtics record for most games with a three-pointer in a row with 50. Thomas would finish the regular season with 76 games played, starting every single one of them, and averaging 29 points per game, 6 assists per game, and almost 3 rebounds per game, marking his best season, earning an All-Star appearance, and finishing 5th in MVP voting. He also led the Celtics to a 53-29 record, earning the 1st seed in the Eastern Conference. Right before the 2017 playoffs started, Thomas learned that his younger sister died in a car accident. Obviously, Thomas was saddened, but this motivated his performance even more and led the Celtics to a first-round win over the Bulls in 6 games. The Celtics were then paired up to face the Washington Wizards in the conference semifinals. Isaiah Thomas had 33 points and 9 assists in Game 1, giving the Celtics the victory. And in Game 2, Isaiah Thomas scored 53 points, which is the 2nd highest playoff total in Celtics history, only missing John Havlicek's team record by 1 point. And then in Game 7 of that series, Thomas had another great performance, recording a double-double with 29 points and 12 assists, which made the Celtics advance to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time since 2012 against Cleveland. The Celtics started off that series against Cleveland by losing the 2 first games, and then sadly after, Thomas was ruled out for the remainder of the postseason with a hip injury. And just like that, Isaiah Thomas's run with the Celtics was over. Surprisingly, the Celtics traded Isaiah Thomas, Jay Crowder, Ante Zizic, and a first-round pick to the Cleveland Cavaliers in exchange for their point guard Kyrie Irving. The Celtics traded Thomas away because of his injury, and the Cleveland medical staff noticed this, as there was many problems with his hip, such as loss of cartilage and arthritis, and he was playing with these injuries for several seasons. When Thomas made his long-awaited debut for the Cavaliers, he scored 17 points in 19 minutes off the bench. The next game was against the Celtics, and although he did not play, he got a standing ovation from the Celtics fans. He had a couple other solid games, such as 19-point and 24-point performances. But later that season, the Cavaliers would trade Thomas, Channing Frye, and a 2018 first-round pick to the Lakers in exchange for Jordan Clarkson and Larry Nance Jr. In his Lakers debut, Thomas put up 22 points off the bench in a 130-123 loss against the Mavericks, and then on March 1st scored a season-high 29 points over the Heat. Shortly after that, he once again was ruled out for the remainder of the season after undergoing arthroscopic surgery to his right hip. And this started Thomas's long span of being traded and re-signing with different teams. Just 2 years ago to this point, Isaiah Thomas was in the MVP conversation, and now teams don't even want to bother wasting a roster spot on him because of his injuries. He then signed a one-year deal with the Nuggets, only playing 12 games. And then a year later, he signed with the Wizards, where even though he was nowhere near his prime, it was his best stint since the Celtics years, as he played 40 games and started 37 of them, averaging 12 points per game. But then on February 6, 2020, Isaiah Thomas was traded to the Los Angeles Clippers and then waived by them 1 day later. A year passed with him not being on a team, and then he signed a 10-day contract with the New Orleans Pelicans, and in 3 games he averaged 7.7 points. Following that, he'd get signed to another 10-day contract with the Lakers, and in his debut he scored 19 points in 22 minutes off the bench. But still, that team did not expand his contract. On December 29, 2020, he was signed another 10-day contract with the Dallas Mavericks. And then 3 months later, Thomas signed a 10-day contract with the Charlotte Hornets, but then due to his play, he was signed for the remainder of the season. Hopefully this is a good trend for the rest of his career. However, it's crazy to think that since the Celtics, Thomas has had 9 stints with different teams, only starting 53 of those games. He once had MVP potential, and then injuries ravaged his career to the place where he is today. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I hope you did enjoy it. If you'd like to check out any other Rise and Fall video, this is my second one. I made one about Gordon Hayward on my channel, so feel free to check that out if you'd like. Is there anything I missed? Let me know in the comments. Feel free to like and subscribe if you're new. It really helps a lot with the channel. And other than that, I will see you guys in the next Heaps video.